Okay, so today I will take you through paper 2. Paper 1 is fiction, is non-fiction, while paper 2 is fiction. Coincidentally, today the GS3 students are actually sitting the checkpoint English exam by, okay, just a minute from now. Maybe it has already started. So next year, by God's grace, it will be your turn. So this is paper 2, fiction. I'm going to show you I'm going to discuss 2 topics from this paper, and I'm going to show you a particular feature this paper contains. Now, if you know they'll give you an insert, then you answer these questions. But look at question 13. Can you see my screen clearly, please?
Yes, sir.
Now, question 13. See if you can attempt question 13. Just try.
Okay, sir. I think it's onomatopoeia.
Okay, now that is wrong. But I will guide you through. So I will take you through figures of speech, okay, today. Then I'll take you through the writing part of paper 2, which is writing a story. Remember, this is fiction, so your story does not have to be real, but your story does not have to be surreal also. You don't have to write about dragons, vampires, Superman, Batman, Avengers, and so on. So I'm going to teach you figures of speech, then how you are going to use the figures of speech to answer questions like questions 13, and how you can also use the figure of speech to write your story. Now, this is paper 2. If you look at this paper 2 also, you find, okay, sorry, this paper 1. If you look at this paper 2 also, this one is October 2020. This one is April 21. You find the same features. They will always ask you questions on figures of speech. So figures of speech is a very important topic if you want to do well on the checkpoint. And also the story writing, you definitely you need to use the figures of speech to create imagery. So first off, let's look at figures of speech. A figure of speech is a group of words that creates effects and emotions with a deeper meaning. Now, what do I mean? You know, sometimes or most times, you know the types of figures of speech, but you don't really know what figures of speech do you?
Like I know, like I have an idea of this.
Okay, can you actually tell me what figures of speech is so that we pick it from there? Go ahead, just tell me what figures of speech is.
It's like a group of words that make a deeper meaning of certain details.
Okay, now figures of speech can actually make you cry, make you smile, make you feel good, and also make you feel bad. For example, if someone walks up to you and say, you are a pig, there are 2 things there. It creates the effect of an animal, the emotions. How does it make you feel?
Like if someone comes here and says that you're a pig,
if someone calls you a pig,
pancreas,
yeah, I know. How will it make you feel? If someone walks up to you and says you're a pig, how will it make you feel?
Angry and sad.
Good. Now, does that person actually mean you're an animal?
No.
It means you're what?
Like you're dirty.
Perfect. Now, look at it now. These are the 3 things figures of speech do. They create effect, the effect of an animal, and you say it creates emotions. You say it makes you feel sad, right? And you say it's a deeper meaning because the person does not actually mean you as an animal, but the person is trying to say how dirty you are, comparing you with a pig. Now, if someone walks up to you and say you are a lion, let's go. Can you break that for me? Explain that.
That you are brave.
1, good. And how would that make you feel?
Like you.
Yeah, you feel good. You feel like a hero, right?
Yeah.
So those are the things figures of speech do. You use figures of speech to create this effect, this imagery in the reader's mind. Okay, the person will see a picture instead of letters. The person will read and just see a picture. So let's look at some types of figures of speech. Before we do that, let's go through this, the sandpaper 2. And you'll find out that you can see most popular: metaphor, repetition, alliteration. If we come here to 13, you find oxymoron, metaphor, onomatopoeia. This is 2021, is the latest. You find another one: simile, oxymoron, alliteration, euphemism. So I'm going to take you through all these, okay? So let us start. The first one, like you know, is simile. Simile is derived from the word similar. Can you make a sentence with similar for me? The word similar.
He's like a lion.
No, make a sentence with the word similar. Similar, not simile. Make a sentence with the word similar.
Him like similar.
Yes, this word, hold on. Similar, yes. I believe you can see my screen.
A dragon is similar to a lizard.
Perfect. Now, you see, the word simile is derived from the word similar. In your sentence, you compared two things. What are the two things you
Dragon
compared?
and lizard.
Perfect. So simile does the same work as similar. Simile compares two things using either as or like. But the most important thing is that you must compare. So if I say, I like eating rice, I believe you can see my screen clearly, right?
Yeah.
Good. If I say I like eating rice, is this simile or metaphor?
Simile.
Now you are wrong. It's not simile, it's not metaphor. Why is it not simile?
Oh, because it's not comparing two things.
Yes, you are not comparing anything. Okay? So like I said, simile, for it to be simile, must compare. So her dress is as white as snow. Now, instead of just writing in your story, her dress is pure white, you can create the imagery by saying her dress is as white as snow. Is that clear?
Yeah.
Good. That will help you paint, that will help you really paint images in the reader's mind. Instead of saying the woman is wicked, you can say the woman is a Jezebel. I believe you know who that is. Now, he is like, did you hear me clearly?
Said woman is what?
A Jezebel. Do you know what that is? Jezebel. Or who that is? Okay, it's a wicked queen in the Bible. She's infamous for her wickedness. Okay? Or when somebody comes and say, wow, he is as fast as a cheater. Now, instead of saying the robbers, after stealing my money, ran very fast. But when you say the robbers, after stealing my money, ran as fast as a cheater. You see, when you do things like that, you create an imagery. So learn to compare, learn to use figures of speech to create imagery. That will actually help the examiner award you more marks because it shows that you are very creative. You know how to use words to paint pictures. Okay, so we don't have any problem with simile. Metaphor also compares two things, but this time, metaphor do not use as or like. So if instead of saying the person is as dirty as a pig, you say what?
Person is a pig.
Now, which one is more painful when they say you are as dirty as a pig or you are a pig? Which one is more painful?
You are a pig.
Thank you very much. You see, you are being direct. You are being direct. It will hurt the person more. Okay? So she's an angel. She's as kind or as generous as an angel. he's as brave as a lion. You just shrink everything, remove the answer like, and you have just a direct comparison. Okay, let's continue. Onomatopoeia deals with sounds, the sounds of an animal, object, or human being. Okay, now, for example, when you hear the sound, you can actually associate that sound with a noun. For example, the lion roared. Only one animal only one animal can make this sound, or a group of animals like the bear, what else can roar? The tiger. But you know, when you hear the word roar, your mind takes you to the lion, okay? She crashed on the floor. What comes to your mind? This is wrong, so.
Yeah. She fell on the floor.
She fell. Now that crashing, okay? What that is, that crashing is a sound. Do you agree?
Yeah.
Now, what does that sound? What can you associate with that sound?
What do you mean?
Now, if you say the lion roared, okay, when I say, okay, let me do this. The man roared. When you hear the word roar, your mind goes to where?
What do you say? I didn't
Can you
really
hear
hear
me?
you.
Okay, can you hear me now?
I can hear you now. But
Okay,
I was closing my door.
okay. Now I said the man roared. I believe you can still see my screen. The man roared. When you hear the word roar, what comes to your mind? Or what animal, what person, what comes to your mind?
A lion.
A lion, good. Now, she crashed on the floor. When you hear the word crash, what image comes to your mind?
Like a plane, like a vehicle
Plane
crashing.
or plates dropping on the floor? Like, you know what I mean? She
Yeah.
crashed on the floor. So that imagery comes to your mind. The sound when something crashes, it's not just a single sound. You hear it more, you know what I'm trying to say? It's not just one sound like boom. When you say someone crashes, okay, it's many sounds. It will make many sounds. So onomatopoeia deals with the sounds of an animal, sounds of an object, and sounds of a human being. So if I change this to the audience applauded her. Now, in that number 3, can you point out the word that is onomatopoeic?
That's like point at the ball. What do you mean by that?
Okay, I said from number 3, can you point out the word that shows sound from number 3?
Uploaded.
Applauded, good, which is what?
Like clapping the hands.
Thank you very much. And you know, when you clap, there's always a sound, okay? You cannot clap silently without hearing the sound. So that's very correct. So onomatopoeia deals with the sound of an object, animal, or human beings. Now, this one, are you a cartoon lover? Do you watch, do you watch cartoons or 3D animation?
Like some I used
Okay, like Tom and Jerry, or what's the other one? Peter Rabbit. And okay, in real life, animals don't talk. Do you agree?
Yes.
In real life, objects don't move. They don't dance. They don't sing. They don't cry. When you give animals or objects human qualities, you make them look as if they are human beings. That is personification. Have you seen the movie Lord of the Rings?
No.
Have you seen the movie Harry Potter, any of the episodes? Have you seen the movie?
Yeah.
Harry? Okay, good. Now, you remember the one with the phoenix? The phoenix was talking. or the birds were talking. You saw trees talk and trees move.
Yeah.
Good. Now, personification is when you give those objects human traits, human characteristics. That's personification. So when you say the thunder spoke, what does that actually mean? Can you explain number one for me?
The thunder was like there was
It was,
lightning.
yeah, no, not like it was making that its usual sound. You know that sound, right?
Yeah.
Now, what about number two? The sun smiled and said good night. What does this sentence actually mean?
Thunder was making noise.
For number two, the sun smiled and said good
Oh,
night.
oh, oh. Like, and that means the sun shine. No, like there was a moon, and the moon is like
No,
shaped like
there's no moon here. I said sun. Let me underline it. I said the sun smiled and said good night.
the sun was shining. Then
No, no.
um,
Now look at when the sun says good night, what does that mean?
it became dark.
Yes. You see, the sun, as it was going, as night approaches, the sun was going down and the sun left with a very good, like, shine, you know, like a twilight. My pen was dancing on my paper. What does that mean?
But his pen was moving about on his paper.
Yes, yes. Like when you are used to this, when you hear 5 minutes to stop, that's when you start rushing, trying to complete the questions. Okay, so the pen here was given the attribute of a human being, which is to dance, right? The sun was given the characteristics of a human being, which is to smile and to speak. The thunder here was also given the characteristics of a human being to speak. So note that. Let me go to the oxymoron. Good. I think we saw oxymoron there among the, yeah, this is oxymoron. So please pay attention. Oxymoron, when you place two opposite words side by side, when you say Nigeria is an oil-rich poor nation, the opposite of rich is what? Poor. And you see, you place them side by side, one after the other in a sentence. This is oxymoron. Oh, loving hate. This is a line from Romeo and Juliet. Have you seen the movie Living Dead? This is oxymoron because the opposite of living is dead. The opposite of dead is living. I bought a small, large frame. The opposite of small is large. The opposite of large is small. Can you give me any other example, please?
Wait, an example of an oxymoron.
Of oxymoron.
The girl is pretty ugly.
Good. The girl is pretty ugly. Now, this is beautiful. So you understand what oxymoron is. They will not give you this. No, no, hold on. I'm looking for the common figures of speech. No, irony should be there, yeah. Now, let me explain irony to you. Irony simply means you are saying the exact opposite of what you are thinking. For example, James in your class is not brilliant. It's not brilliant, and he is a slow learner. You know he comes last in the class. And yet you say, James is so brilliant that he passed 1 out of the 9 subjects. Now, if you look at this sentence, James is so brilliant that he passed 1 out of the 9 subjects. Is this true?
It's not true.
It's not true. Good, perfect. I think you got it. Like sarcasm. What you are thinking is not what you are saying. You are saying the exact opposite of what you are thinking. Okay? In your mind, you know that James is not brilliant at all. You know he's not brilliant. But what you're just saying is, well, he's so brilliant. He passed 1 out of the 9 subjects. Maybe not to make him feel bad, or you just want to mock him. Okay? So irony is saying exactly the opposite of what you're thinking. Now we have some 3 types of irony. I will just rush that. We have the verbal irony, which is what I just explained here. We have the situational irony. Now, this situational irony, let me explain that to you. Situational irony is when something happens and it's not what you expect, it's the opposite of what you expect. I'll give you an example and that will help you understand. I hope you are still there with me.
Yeah.
Good. Now, by 10:30 p.m., you hug your mom, you hug your dad, and you say, good night, mom, good night, dad. You go into your room, you lock the door, and you open your window and you escape. You leave the house without their knowledge to a club and you start dancing. While you were dancing, the music stopped and you raise your head and you realize you were actually dancing with your mother. Did you expect to see your mother in the club at that time?
No.
Because you thought you had escaped to the club. Now, when you saw your mom will not say anything to you because she's also right there. You were not expecting to see her there. Were you expecting to see her there?
No.
You now raised your head to look at the DJ. The DJ now becomes your father. So that's an irony of a situation. You did not expect to see your parents there. You thought you were the only one escaping the house in the night to go and party. You don't know your parents do that too. So the day that thing happened is the exact opposite because your parents were not expecting to see you there. You were also not expecting to meet your parents there, right? Now that's irony of situation. For dramatic irony, let's leave this one for the literature student. You will not use this for, what do they call it? For checkpoint. Good. Alliteration, I've been looking for this. You know what alliteration is, right?
Yeah. Like when.
Yeah. Yes, go ahead, please.
When there like repetition of the same letter.
The same consonant letter. Please note this. The same consonant letter. Okay? Not just the same letter, the same consonant letter. Look at this one. Bouncing baby ball. You find B, B, B. Okay? Chocolate chewy cheese. Man made man me. Now, sometimes when you see words like this, it's also alliteration. These two do not really count. Okay? For example, man in the main mirror. So when you say these two, they are actually prepositions and articles. They don't matter. They don't disturb the flow. So it's still alliteration. Okay? Father Francis fried 5 frozen fishes for 5 friends from France. So alliteration is quite clear to you. She gave birth to a bouncing baby boy. Assonance, let's leave that for the literature students. Let me look for hyperbole. Good. Now I'm just trying to, okay, we've done 1, 2, 3, 4. We've not done euphemism. I will explain euphemism to you. Hyperbole. Sorry, are you the last child?
What is it?
Are you the last child of the family?
No.
Okay. Now let's do it this way. Let me say you beat up the last child when your parents were not around. and you apologized, you pampered, you bribed the last child. Then, when your parents arrive, that brother that you apologized to started crying loud. What was she trying? What was that? What is that child trying to do?
To put me in trouble.
Thank you very much. To put you in trouble. Did you just beat the child?
Yeah.
No, you beat the child in the morning and you apologized to the child. You gave him your afternoon meal. You bought pizza for him so that he will not tell daddy or mommy. That happened around 8 a.m. But when your parents started coming back around 7 p.m., he started crying just to get into trouble. You see, the last born there, what he did was to exaggerate the beating so that to get into trouble. So hyperbole, what is small, you make it look so big. Look at this one. I am so thirsty, I can drink a river. Can you explain that to me?
They were so thirsty they could like drink anything. But that's true.
Good. This is a line. Now, this is a line from Lion King. This second line was said by Simba. He said, I am so hungry, I can eat a whole zebra. Remember, Simba then was a cub. Can a cub eat a whole zebra?
I didn't, wait, no.
He was just trying to tell you that he is very hungry, okay? He is very hungry. So when you write like this in your story, you create images. Don't worry, I will show you that. Let me show you, what did I call it? Euphemism before we are through with figures of speech. Now, euphemism, euphemism is a way, is telling somebody to go to hell in a way that the person will look forward to the trip. Something that is very painful, you say it in a mild way so that the person will not be angry. So instead of saying the king is dead, you say the king has joined his ancestors. Did you get that?
Yeah, like he tried to make it, he said it's like you fancy like an expression where you're trying to like make the situation not that serious or something.
Yeah. Now look at these two, number 1 and 2. Which one is more painful? Which one will look more? Which one looks more serious?
You don't look more.
Which one will look more? Which one looks more serious? 1 and 2.
Number 2.
Good. So, and they are both saying the same thing. They are both saying the same thing. So, the king has joined his ancestors. Okay? The king has joined his ancestors. So give me a second. You're welcome, boss. And she did come. Thank you. Okay, sorry about that. Now, the king has joined his ancestors. It's, lighter, okay? It's lighter than the king is dead, because that is more painful. So if you go through the figures of speech mentioned, we have discussed simile, oxymoron, alliteration, euphemism, personification, metaphor. Repetition simply means repeating the same words, okay? Then let's look at this. Oxymoron, metaphor. You see, practically we have treated the main figures of speech that I will ask you in checkpoints, okay? So let's do a little exercise on the on figures of speech. Now, I believe you can see my screen clearly, right?
I didn't know your voice was blocking.
Okay, okay. What about now? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay. Now I said if you look at all the figures of speech we've treated, oxymoron, metaphor, onomatopoeia, rhyme is not a figure of speech. Metaphor, alliteration, repetition simply means repeating the same words over and over again. Then simile, oxymoron, alliteration, euphemism, personification. Now, let's just do a little exercise before we look at story writing. Okay? Now, I believe you can see my screen well. Now, this is what you will do. If you look at number 1, I will just place the cursor here and you tell me which of these phrases is alliteration. Just mention A, B, C to G. Then I'll just type it here. If this is alliteration, if you say A is alliteration, I'll type A, then we'll check the answers. So go through the phrases and tell me which one is alliteration. Remember, alliteration simply means
C. C.
Did you say B or C?
I said C.
Very correct. What about number 2?
Number 2, C. E.
Did you say E? Yeah, very correct. E, heavy as a rock. Metaphor. Okay, before we come to metaphor, now, this is what I want you to do. If you are confused about one, you can ask me to skip. Okay, so when you get every other answers correctly, the last man standing becomes your choice. So if I ask you metaphor, which one would you think is the correct option here?
So I said E. Number E.
Okay, should I skip number 3?
Number 3 is A.
Perfect. Number 3 is A. Number 4? Okay,
Number
yeah.
4 is
Number 4 is onomatopoeia. You will just look for a sound.
F.
Perfect. F, because of the sound hum. Good. Oxymoron. 2 opposite words placed side by side.
Open secret.
Open secret, which is B, correct? 6, hyperbole.
F which D. Wait, no. E.
Okay, let's skip to personification first. Skip to personification. Then the last one you have not mentioned becomes the answer. Then I will explain to you why hyperbole, why a particular phrase is the hyperbole.
Hyperbole is G. And then personification is D.
Thank you. Hyperbole is G, because when you say everyone knows that, how are you so sure? How are you so sure? Now let's look at the answers. We have C, E, A, F, B, G, D. C, E, A, C, E, A, F, B, G, D. Perfect. Okay, so we are done with figures of speech. Let's come back here. These are the checkpoint questions. Okay, let's see if you can get these ones correctly. Before we take a break for, let's say, 10 minutes, then I'll come back to show you how to write a story for me. Now, look at question 13, shaving the hair. What is the phrase above an example of? Shaving the hair. It's not rhyme. So what figure of speech is that?
either is no, is either metaphor or oxymoron.
Oxymoron, hold on. What is an oxymoron?
About
Two opposite words. Two opposite words placed
oh,
side by side.
oh.
So there's no
that is
opposite. So there's no opposite words there. So what's the answer? There are no opposite words. So what is the answer now?
Metaphor.
Perfect. Metaphor. Right? Now, let's go to this other one. Now, look at this question. I love this question. This is what Checkpoint says. They said, give one example. He said, look at lines 33 to 38. Now, I'm going to look for this passage now. So this is paper 2, April 2021. Paper 2, April inserts. Paper 2, hold on. This is paper 2, April 2021. Where is that insert? I think this should be it. Perfect. Now, good. It says, what is that answer? What's it? Here it says, give one example of each of the following from lines 33 to 38. Okay, from lines 33 to 38. So let's look at lines 33 to 38 now. Good. So from here to here, this paragraph, you are going to look for, so sorry, can you see my screen, please? Hello, Kevin.
Yes.
Good. Now, you are looking at this paragraph from 38, from 33 to 38. Okay, so this paragraph, they're asking you to look for, look for an example of metaphor, repetition, alliteration. So metaphor, repetition, and alliteration. So come here, look for, if you see any metaphor, alliteration was the third one, and repetition, just point out. So just read this paragraph. Remember, you're looking for alliteration, metaphor, and repetition.
Line 33.
Yes. This paragraph, you can see my cursor, right? Yeah, 33 to 38. So this 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38. So just this whole paragraph, okay? When you find the alliteration, let me know. I'm looking at one. Have you seen alliteration?
Oh, yes.
So which one is alliteration? Just read it out for me.
I said not yet.
Okay, alliteration is there staring at you. The same consonant letter repeatedly. Then repetition, the same words repeatedly. Are you serious? You cannot find alliteration? Okay, look for repetition, where they repeated two words.
But my mother said, like little said, like little candy. Uncle,
For, is it for repetition?
yeah.
Okay, repetition. My mother's hair, no, did not repeat it. Okay, yeah, good. But my mother's hair, perfect. This is repetition, right? So let's go back here
Yes.
and type my mother's hair, my mother's hair. So you see, it's very correct, right? So let's go back to this. You are done with repetition. So you're looking for alliteration now.
Yeah.
Can you see alliteration? It's very, very close. It's very, very close to the ones you just mentioned.
Candy circles all coily.
Is it all coily? Yes, like little. So LL, right? Over this one and this one. Yeah, like little. This one is correct. So this is alliteration, like little. So we come back here and we say, sorry, like little, okay? Then metaphor. So we're done with this. We're looking for metaphor now. Let me see if I can help you here. Or coily and pretty. Or coily and pretty. Is that not metaphor? Or coily and pretty. Switch to put your nose into when she's holding. Or coily and pretty is the warm smell of bread before you bake it. There's a smell when she, Have you picked anyone? And you sleep near her? No. The rain outside falling and Papa snoring. No, the son of Utopia.
The mama said a small.
Which one? Which one? Which one? Which one did you
I
pick?
thought, I thought like I thought like I thought it was the
Good.
last one. The mama said that smell like bread.
Mama's head. That's no. For the fact that you included there's like here, it becomes similar. Okay.
Yeah.
So circles all coily and pretty because she pinned it in all pecans all day. Switch to put your nose into when she, yeah, switch to put your nose. Yeah. This is one of them. This is one of them. What do you have to say? It's the warm smell of bread. Yeah, this should be another one. Okay. The warm smell of bread before you bake it. Comparing, they say, comparing the way she's holding you, okay? Is the smell one of bread, is the smell that comes from your room, comparing that room to your smell without the use, to the smell of bread without the use of as and like. Okay, look at this. I'll just, let's just do this one before we perhaps call it a day. And tomorrow we look at story writing. Look at this one. Look at the sentence. When the sun does come out, it does so apologetically, like a ballerina who is unsure of her entrance on stage. There are two figures of speech used in this sentence. Tick the two of them. I believe you can see my screen clearly, right?
Yeah, I can see.
Now, it says, when the sun does come out, it does so apologetically, like a ballerina who is unsure of her entrance on stage. This sentence You can find two figures of speech used in this sentence. Tick the two of them. I'm not going to say anything. Look at the sentence very, very carefully.
Number is this simile and
Good, good, good. So let me tick simile first. This is simile 1, which is very correct. Which other one? Look harder.
What does apologetically mean?
It means to apologize, okay? It simply means to apologize.
Euphemism.
No, no, no. Read the sentence again. Say, when the sun does come out, it does so apologetically, like a ballerina who is unsure of her entrance on stage. The sun is a ballerina. The sun is a ballerina. The sun is a woman going on stage to perform. What figure of speech is that? Look at the options here.
Oxymoron.
Is there. It's not oxymoron. It's there. Do not guess. I just gave you a clue. The sun is described as a ballerina, as a woman going on stage to perform. The sun.
Oh, it's personification.
Perfect personification. So don't throw away your marks. They say when the sun does come out, it does so apologetically. Like comparing the sun, giving the sun human traits, okay? Like someone who's going to dance. So please, in paper 2, figures of speech is what you are going to use to write your story. You have to paint your story using figures of speech so that your story will contain imagery. One of the things they require, the examiners require, is the way your words flow to make it interesting, okay? So this is what will happen now.